Hi everyone, I'm Bubbles from Susan's family. Today, I'm bringing you a design from our Retro Nostalgia series, the Lulu V-neck pullover. This sweater consists of the front piece, the back piece, the joining of the front and back pieces, the sleeves, and the edging. First, we'll crochet the front and back pieces separately. Then we'll join them together. Next, we'll crochet the sleeves and attach them. Finally, we'll add the edging. The sweater comes in two sizes, small and large. The crochet method is the same for both sizes. The only difference is the stitch count and row count. For the following demonstration, I'll use the small size as an example. I'll show you the crochet method. I'll provide additional instructions for different positions as needed. Let's start with the front piece. It's divided into the body and the chest piece. First, let's learn how to crochet the body. We will start from foundation chain. Work back and forth along the starting chain. The stitch techniques used include chain stitches, double crochets, single crochets, and SC2 tog, single crochet 2 stitches work together. Now, let's show. This sweater is crocheted using 2 strands of yarn worked as 1 strand. For solid color yarn, just crochet normally. When using variegated yarn, for both the front and back pieces, start with the darker segment. If the beginning of the yarn is not a dark segment, you can wrap it around until you reach the dark segment. When crocheting the collar, try to use the same color segment. If other segments appear while crocheting, you can also break the yarn and wrap it to the corresponding segment before continuing to crochet. To make it easier for everyone to see clearly, I will demonstrate with a different color yarn later. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. First, let's start with a chain stitch. The exact number of stitches can be found in the chart. That completes the starting chain. Next, we'll work row 1. Start with 3 chain stitches as the turning chain for the double crochet. This counts as 1 double crochet, unless otherwise specified. 3 chain stitches as the turning chain will always count as 1 double crochet. Next, in the 5th chain from the hook, pick up the top half stitch and work 1 double crochet. After completing that, work 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 adjacent chain stitches. Note: the number of double crochets along the edges varies for different sizes. Refer to the pattern chart for specific instructions. Next, work 2 chain stitches. Skip 2 stitches. Then work 1 double crochet. Continue by working 2 chain stitches, skipping 2 stitches, and working 1 double crochet. Repeat this method all the way to the last 2 chain stitches of the row. After completing that, for the smaller size, work 4 more double crochets at the end. That means maintaining symmetry with the starting side. For the larger size, the number should also be symmetrical with the starting side. After completing that, the first row is done. Now, let's move on to the second row. Start with 3 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Turn the work. These 3 chain stitches correspond to the last stitch of the previous row. Then, work double crochets along the stitches and chain spaces. Note, after turning the work, the stitches will be in the upper left position. Continue working this row all the way down. The final double crochet should be worked into the turning chain of the previous row. Hook into the 2 strands above. This completes the second row. Consider the right side of this row as the right side of the entire piece. This is the side where the starting tail of the yarn is on the right-hand side. For the smaller size, start crocheting the pattern area next. For the larger size, you need to crochet 2 more rows. The crochet method is the same as the first 2 rows. For the third row, continue picking up stitches. Skip the corresponding number of stitches below. The fourth row involves picking up stitches and working into chain spaces. Now, everyone can finish this part on their own. For the smaller size, start from the 3rd row. For the larger size, start from the 5th row. I'm working on the smaller size, so let's crochet the 3rd row. Make 3 chains to start. Turn your work. Then, crochet 3 double crochets in sequence. Note that the number of edge double crochets differs between the small and large sizes. I won't repeat this for the rest. Next, crochet 2 chains. Skip 2 stitches below. Then, crochet 4 double crochets in sequence. Then, crochet 6 chains. Next, skip 5 stitches below. Crochet 1 single crochet. Now, crochet 1 SC2 tog. First, make 1 incomplete single crochet in each of the next 2 adjacent stitches. Now you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through all the loops. That completes one SC2 tog. Then, crochet another single crochet. 6 chains. Then, skip 5 stitches below. Crochet 4 double crochets. Then, crochet 2 chains and 4 double crochets. Repeat this 2 times. Next, repeat 5 chains and 4 double crochets. Do this 2 more times. 2 chains and 4 double crochets. After that, crochet 6 chains. Skip 5 stitches and crochet 1 single crochet. 1 SC2 tog. And 1 single crochet. Then crochet 6 chains. Skip 5 stitches. And finish the remaining stitches. That completes the 3rd row. Now let's move on to the 4th row. Make 3 chains to start. Turn the work. First, crochet double crochets along the stitches and chain spaces. Pay attention to crocheting chains between the double crochets. After that, crochet 6 chains. Then make 1 single crochet in the SC2 tog. Then crochet 6 more chains. Crochet 3 double crochets in the next chain space. Continue crocheting double crochets along the chain spaces and stitches. Crochet the corresponding number of chains in between. In some positions, crochet single crochets in the chain spaces. Crochet 3 double crochets on each side. Continue following this method. Follow the chart to complete this row. Once done, the 4th row is completed. Next, we'll crochet the 5th row. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Then, crochet double crochets along the stitches and chain spaces. After that, crochet 4 chains. Then, make 1 single crochet in the chain space on the left side. Crochet 4 more chains. Continue crocheting double crochets along the stitches and chain spaces. Crochet chains in between. Place single crochets in certain areas. Complete this row. Once done, the 5th row is completed. Next, we'll crochet the 6th row. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Turn the work. First, crochet double crochets along the stitches and chain spaces. Crochet chains in between. After that, crochet 6 chains. Then, crochet 1 single crochet in the next chain space. Crochet 1 single crochet on the single crochet. Continue with 1 single crochet in the chain space. Next, continue crocheting along the chain spaces and stitches. Complete this row. Once done, the 6th row is completed. Now, let's crochet the 7th row. Start with 3 chains as the beginning chain. Turn the work. Similarly, start by crocheting double crochets and chains along the stitches and chain spaces. After that, crochet 8 chains. Then, crochet 5 single crochets in a row. Crochet them in the single crochet stitches and the chain spaces on either side. After that, Crochet 8 more chains. Next, continue crocheting along the chain spaces and stitches. Complete this row. Once done, the 7th row is completed. Now, everyone refer to the pattern. Complete rows 8 and 9 as well. Let's take a look. Each row is formed by changing the position of the stitches and chains. This creates the corresponding texture and pattern. Now, everyone continue using this method. Refer to the stitch pattern in the diagram. Finish crocheting the body. The method and stitch techniques have been demonstrated. Don't cut the yarn after finishing. This completes the body. Next, let's learn how to crochet the chest piece. Continue crocheting upwards using the yarn tail from the body. The new stitch techniques include the slip stitch, double crochet 2 stitches and 1 treble crochet worked together, DC2T or tog, half double crochet, and DC2 tog. Now, let's show. First, crochet the first row. Turn the work. Make 1 slip stitch in the second to last double crochet of the previous row. The slip stitch here forms an oval shape. It means not to pull too tight. Pay attention to continue crocheting the corresponding number of slip stitches with a larger hook. Here, I'm demonstrating with a smaller hook. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, make 1 slip stitch. Then, make 2 single crochets in the next chain space. Next, make 1 half double crochet in the adjacent double crochet. Continue following the chart for the stitch pattern. Complete this row. After the last slip stitch is completed, the first row is done. Now, let's crochet the second row. Turn your work. Make 1 slip stitch in the adjacent stitch. Chain 1. Skip 1 stitch and make 1 slip stitch. Chain 1 again. Skip 1 stitch and make 2 slip stitches. Continue following the chart to complete this row. After the last slip stitch is completed, the second row is done. Now, let's crochet the third row. First, turn your work. Then, crochet slip stitches and chain stitches. After that, chain 3. Note that these 3 chain stitches do not count as a stitch. Then, work a DC2 tog. Start by working an incomplete double crochet in each of the next 2 adjacent stitches. Now you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops. This completes 1 DC2 tog. Continue referring to the chart before finishing the last stitch. Work a cluster of 2 double crochets and 1 treble crochet. Start by working an incomplete double crochet in each of the next 2 adjacent stitches. Then, work an incomplete treble crochet in the next adjacent stitch. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Repeat this 2 more times. Finally, yarn over and pull through all the remaining loops. This completes the cluster of 2 double crochets and 1 treble crochet. The 3rd row is now completed. Next, everyone refer to the chart. Continue working until you finish the 9th row. Now, let's start the 10th row. From this row on, you need to work separately on the left and right sides. Pick up where you left off with the previous yarn tail. First, work on the right side. Determine the right side based on how it will be worn. Chain 3 to start. Turn your work. Then, refer to the chart. Work all the way to the last slip stitch of the row. Once you finish, the 10th row is complete. Next, let's start the 11th row. First, turn your work. Then, work a slip stitch and a chain. After finishing, continue with the corresponding stitch pattern. Complete this row. This completes the 11th row. Next, everyone continue to follow the chart. Work all the way to the 23rd row. Now, let's start the 24th row. First, carry the yarn across. Enlarge the loop. Then, pass the working yarn ball through the loop. Pull it through the loop. Tighten. Turn the work. Hook the yarn out in the adjacent chain space. Carry the yarn slightly loose. Make 1 beginning chain. Then, work 1 single crochet. 1 half double crochet, followed by 2 chains. When you reach the position for 3 single crochets, start with 1 double crochet. Then, work 1 double crochet increase. That means working 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Double crochet increase completed. Work 1 double crochet in the adjacent stitch. Continue to finish this row. This completes row 24. Now, let's work on row 25. Make 3 chains to start. Turn the work. Finish this row. After finishing, leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. This completes the right side section. Next, we'll work on the left side section. First, join the yarn. Hold the wrong side of the piece facing you. Then, at the first row on the right side, in the last stitch, join the yarn with a 2-stitch interval. That means joining the yarn in this double crochet. Place the yarn tail on the wrong side. Make a slip knot to start. Then follow the chart to work the stitch pattern. As you crochet, weave in the ends. Once finished, row 10 will be completed. Next, everyone continue to refer to the chart and complete the entire left side. When done, leave a tail and fasten off the yarn. This concludes the left side. Up to this point, the front piece is fully explained. Now let's move on to the back piece. It is also divided into the body and the chest piece. Start by crocheting the body, then crochet the chest piece. The crochet methods for the body and chest piece are basically the same as before. When crocheting the second to last row, you need to work a treble crochet. That means first making an incomplete treble crochet. Then yarn over and draw through all the loops once. This completes the treble crochet. Next, when crocheting the last row, start with the right side, then break the yarn. Reattach the yarn on the left side and crochet. Follow the chart to complete this part. That concludes the back piece. After both the front and back pieces are crocheted, we will move on to joining them. Start by joining the shoulders. Then join the side seams. When joining, always align the right sides together. Crochet on the wrong side. The method for joining both shoulders is the same. I'll demonstrate the joining method using one side as an example. Take the front and back pieces. Align the right sides of the pieces together. Here, I'll use a small sample for demonstration. If you have stitch markers, you can temporarily secure the shoulders before joining. If you don't have stitch markers, you can use safety pins or paper clips instead. Here, I'll join the yarn and crochet on one side. Insert the hook through both the front and back pieces. Make one beginning chain. Then work single crochets along the edge of the front and back pieces. You can refer to the diagram for the insertion position, or you can roughly insert the hook. Once completed, make sure the fabric piece is flat. Weave in the yarn tails together. When you encounter a slip stitch, you can pick up the chain formed by the slip stitch. Or you can insert the hook into the insertion point of the slip stitch. When you encounter carrying the yarn across, wrap it. After completing, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the end. This completes the joining of one shoulder. Next, everyone follow the same method to join the other shoulder. That covers the joining of the shoulders. Now let's learn how to join the side seams of the body. Here, I'll demonstrate using the finished product. Also, place the right sides of the fabric pieces together. Then crochet along the stitches on the side edge. At the same time, pick up and crochet both the front and back pieces. Everyone, refer to the chart to complete this. That covers the joining of the body side seams. The joining process is now complete. Next, we'll move on to crocheting the sleeves. Here, I'll demonstrate using the finished product. There are 2 identical sleeves. Each sleeve is divided into the sleeve body and the sleeve cap. First, crochet the sleeve body. We will start from the foundation chain. Work back and forth along the starting chain. The stitch techniques and methods used are the same as before. Everyone, refer to the chart to complete this. That covers the sleeves. After completing the sleeves, first join the sleeve body. Place the right sides of the sleeves together. Then, temporarily secure the sides with stitch markers. You can also fix a few points in between. After securing, use single crochets to join the pieces. The method is almost the same as joining the body sides. You can refer to the chart for the number of single crochets. Alternatively, you can work them evenly and flat, as long as the fabric piece is flat after completing. When done, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. After the sleeve body is joined, attach the sleeve to the armhole position. This is also done on the wrong side. I'll explain using a finished product. Before attaching, temporarily secure the sleeve to the armhole with stitch markers. Align the joining position with the underarm. Then, secure it at the shoulder as well. Next, find a few points in between to secure. After securing, then start the attachment. Here, the side of the sleeve cap is attached to the front and back pieces. Pick up the side stitches or insert the hook into the beginning chain. If you encounter a slip stitch or single crochet, you can pick up roughly 2 strands to insert the hook. When attaching the last row of the sleeve cap, pick up the stitches or insert the hook into the chain spaces. Similarly, for this attachment, you can crochet according to your preference. After completing all the crochet work, leave a yarn tail and hide it on the wrong side. That concludes the explanation of sleeve attachment. The entire sleeve has now been covered. Next, let's learn how to crochet the edging. This includes the hem edging, cuff edging, and neckline edging. Let's start with the hem edging. Crochet in rounds along the front and back pieces. Now, let's show. Turn the hem upwards. For the smaller size, join the yarn in the large space between the beginning chain and the first double crochet. For the larger size, join the yarn between the double crochets. Here, I'll demonstrate with the smaller size. First, make 3 chain stitches. Then, work 2 double crochets in the same position, where you joined the yarn. Next, make 1 slip stitch in the next chain space. Then, make 3 more chain stitches, followed by 2 more double crochets. Then, skip 1 chain space. Make 1 slip stitch in the next chain space. Then, make 3 more chain stitches and 2 more double crochets. Let's take a look. Here, you'll be working into the chain space or between the double crochets and making 3 chain stitches, followed by 2 double crochets. Continue this process, refer to the chart, crochet the hem. After completing the last 2 double crochets, make 1 slip stitch at the beginning position. Leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the end. That completes the hem edging. Next, we'll crochet the cuff edging. The method is almost the same as for the hem, but here, the slip stitch insertion points are all between the double crochets. Now, everyone refer to the chart. Follow the previous learning method to crochet it. That concludes the cuff edging. Next, we'll learn how to crochet the neckline edging. Crochet in rounds along the neckline. Now, let's show. First, join the yarn at the corresponding half double crochet in the last row of the back piece. Then, work 3 chains. In the same stitch, work 2 more double crochets. Next, continue crocheting along the front piece. Crochet slip stitches along the side of the front piece. Work 3 chains and 2 double crochets in between. The insertion point for the slip stitch can be referenced from the diagram. You can also roughly pick the insertion point, as long as the fabric piece is flat after crocheting. Finish crocheting the front piece. When crocheting at the slip stitch location, you can pick the insertion point of the slip stitch to crochet. In the middle, you also need to pick up stitches to crochet. Continue to finish the front piece. After the last slip stitch on the front piece is completed, work 3 chains and 2 double crochets. Then, on the back piece, at the corresponding single crochet on the last row of the other side, work a slip stitch. Continue to work slip stitches along the stitches and chain spaces. Work 3 chains and 2 double crochets in between. Finish crocheting the back piece. After completing, work a slip stitch at the starting position. Finally, leave a yarn tail, fasten off, and weave in the ends. That's it for the neckline edging. We've covered all the edging up to this point. We've finished the entire pullover. If you have any unclear points while crocheting, don't hesitate to reach us via our website, Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.